From Space Ghost, coast to coast, it is Space Ghost. Good morning. Hey.
Hello, citizens Beaner and Ken. And greetings, citizens of this fair radio market. Where are we? Space Ghost very confused today.
You're in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, yes, Birmingham, of course.
Right.
The home of America's greatest folk artists.
Yes, sure. Are you calling us from the Phantom Cruiser this morning?
I am.
How are things?
Oh, things are swell. I had to get back to the Ghost Planet because I'm getting a new space water heater.
Yeah. It's like getting cable. You have to be there for them to bring it by.
You got to be there for the water heater. That's the way it works. When the space water... In fact, there's Space Jimmy now. Space Jimmy, how's it going? Yeah, right on, Space Jimmy.
Space Jimmy needs a microphone. All right, Space Ghost.
So, Space Ghost, it's a pleasure talking to you. Of course, I grew up watching you on television, and now I enjoy watching you on the Cartoon Network as a host of your own talk show.
Aren't you sweet? And thank you for making me feel old.
Well, you don't age as the rest of us, do you?
Oh, well, no, certainly not. I think that goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does. You look great.
Oh,
You and Dick Clark will just look eternally young, Space Ghost.
He's creepy.
Have you ever had him on the show?
No, we would love to have Dick Clark on the show.
Well, I know in this past season you had Conan O'Brien, Jerry Springer, Sarah Jessica Parker. Who is some of your favorite guests that you've had on Space Ghost?
Oh, well, I always say this, and it's very, very true. I loved scatting with Branford Marsalis. But one of my favorites was, of course, the lovely and vivacious Michael Stipe.
Yes.
Who, did you see him on Saturday Night Live last week?
Yes, he seemed out of breath for most of it.
He played the Christmas fairy. It's true. He grabbed, who is it, Chris Kattan, who plays Mango.
Yes.
He grabbed Chris Kattan by the hand and said, "Come with me. I'm the Christmas fairy."
That was a very good Stipe.
He was so into doing our show that, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. He said he couldn't do the interview without his space glasses, and he pulled out these big blue things that, Grandma wears after RK surgery on the eyeball. Hold on, Space Ghost, I can't do this without my space glasses. Very, very cool guy. Very, they warned us about, don't do this, don't do that. Mr. Stipe's very fun. Don't ask for an autograph. Don't look him directly in the eye, just like Dionne Warwick or whoever it is. Don't touch him. Don't try to speak to him. And then of course afterward he's like, "Oh, maybe we can all get a beer."
Now, what guest over the years was really itching for a blast from the power bands? Was there anybody?
The Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
Instantaneously. They had been with Howard Stern before coming to visit us.
Oh no,
that's
yeah, exactly.
So they were a little disenchanted with the interview process.
Like visiting the Marquis de Sade before dropping by a Catholic bake sale. Of course, I'm speaking purely metaphorically here.
So you were ready to vaporize them instantly.
They showed up and they were just, how we say in the radio industry, what do you boys call it, vulgaire?
Oh,
they were a little on the vulgaire side, which, what can you do? What can you do? You roll with it for a minute or two, and then it got out of control. We actually used, I think, 19 seconds of the interview was usable. I think it was our shortest visit by a celebrity guest ever.
You had Sarah Jessica Parker on the show this year.
Oh, Daddy Likey. Yes, that'll put the spank in the spank ray.
I was going to ask you about that, Space Ghost. I mean, you're a single guy.
Yes.
Do you ever find yourself drawn to any of the female guests?
I'll say, with a great big pencil and a fresh, crisp, bright white piece of paper, yes, I was drawn to her, all right. See, I made a little drawing analogy there. Wasn't that brilliant? Up to the point where I derailed and couldn't pronounce draw.
I was waiting for some kind of tractor beam analogy.
Yes, the tractor beam, which, of course, you boys are familiar with that, being from Alabama.
The tractor beam.
The tractor beam. That's a little farm fun there. Lord help us how we're all laughing and enjoying ourselves.
Now, I understand that Brack is going to have his own television variety special this spring.
He is. And, of course, as they say, that will appear at another time.
Now, how do you...
No, I'm a little annoyed with Brack,
How so?
Because he's basically going to go out and go, "Hey, and the man's probably going to be driving around in a Rolls Royce for the next 10 years.
Well, he is riding on your.
But I wish Brack well, even with his obvious problems.
So Space
communication difficulties.
What do you have planned for the next millennium as far as your show
yes,
goes?
Sir.
Yes,
sir. Oh, well, I got these preserves I'm going to open up on New Year's. Yep.
Well, that'll be fun.
Midnight on the 1st, man. I got some pear preserves that are just calling my name.
You're a party animal.
It's going to be a big night.
Have you stockpiled space, products, space
Yes,
water and
we
such?
actually have our own version of aerosol cheese. We call it Space Whiz. And we're all going to have Space Whiz on crackers. It'll be very yummy. And, of course, we're going to continue scanning the universe for only the tastiest of broadcast interviews for you, the listening and viewing public.
You know, we always, being in radio, it's very competitive, and we have, of course, enemies across the street.
Oh, are you kidding? Of course. It's the most competitive business there is.
So I was going to ask you, because you seem to have done a great job of winning over your old adversaries. You have Zorak on the show, you have Moltar on the show. These were former Space Ghost villains, now part of your show.
Yeah.
How were you able to win them over to the bright side of the force?
Yes, please tell us.
Oh, well, you're gonna say we're nuts, but Pez.
Pez!
You give your enemy a Pez, and the world is yours.
We should have thought of that, Ken. We should
have thought of it.
We should just
and
feed our enemies. That would
Why
work
don't you try that? The next time you boys are at a broadcast mixer and you see your enemy from across the way, who's your competition? Winky and Doodle are over there at Peppy 102?
That's them.
That's them. Rick and Bubba, actually, are the...
Rick and Bubba?
Yes.
Boy, I would think you have nothing to worry about.
We really don't, Space Ghost.
What? It sounds like the guys down at the drive-thru. Rick and Bubba. What do they do?
We were wondering that same thing ourselves.
Where are you? Well,
Well, you're going to have John Benjamin, who is the voice of Dr. Kat's son.
yes.
On
John
the show.
He's actually, I think, Katz's son.
Right.
He's
the voice of
wonderful talent.
Dr. Katz's
He'll
son.
be on. That's actually tomorrow night.
Now, is he going to be animated, or will he be real?
No, it's the real. The guests are always real,
Okay.
so with the exception of the Bee Gees. And they pop up in my little cartoon monitor. Everything is cartoon. The set, me, everything's happening in animation realm, with the exception of the guest who pops down in a little cartoon video monitor. But then you see the actual guest. It's just like watching a cartoon television with a real picture.
Right. I was just wondering, since he is on an animated show,
You know,
if he would be animated.
as we often say, boys, it's much like Max Headroom, only funny and still on the air.
Well, we will be sure to watch the Cartoon Network.
That's a reference that's probably about, 12 years out of date?
That's okay, Space Ghost.
But you know, I'm 12 years out of date,
You're kind of timeless in a cartoon kind of.
Aren't you sweet for having said that?
Yes.
Diener and Ken,
Space
you boys
Ghost.
rule.
Thanks for being on the show, Space Ghost.
No, thank you for having me on the show.
741.
I enjoyed being on the show. The show was great.
Diener and Ken.
Yay.